learn how to model these ruins in Unreal Engine 5. If you're a beginner with Unreal Engine 5 and want to create an environment for your games, then this tutorial is for you. In this tutorial, you will learn how to create this environment from scratch. You will learn different techniques to model and create destroyed assets. You will learn how to create pack level actors to decorate levels much faster, and we will decorate our environment using materials, foliage, and simulation to make our scene look better. These techniques can be applied to multiple cases, whether you're making a huge environment like the castle or making a small scene. Modeling in Unreal is the future, and you can create something great just with these tools. But making a great environment is not only about knowing how to use the tools. This is why in this tutorial provided by WinFox you will learn more such as art theory, optimization, master materials, landscapes, and the mindset behind creating a big scene like this castle. Environment creation is a skill that is on demand on the industry. In fact, this is the skill that got me a job at Ubisoft, and I'm here to share with you my experience, so you can also have the opportunity to enter a big game company. So join now, and I will make a link in the description so you can enroll the course with a discount. So let's start our project by creating a file, a new level, and here I have a bunch of options. I just want to select the empty level and click create. Okay, so now that I'm here, I'm going to add a ground here that I can use, and in order to do that, I'm just going to modeling here with Shift 5. You can either click this or Shift 5 and go here to my cube grid. Okay, and now that I have this, I can just select this, something like this, and when I press E, I can just push the buttons, like pull or push, pull, push, just like that, E and Q. Okay, so now that I have that, then I just have a ground, hit complete. Okay, so Shift F1, sorry, Shift 1 to go to here in my map, and let's play from here. Okay, now I cannot see anything because you know everything is black. So what I need to do here, and I go to unlit and go lit, and you see that everything is dark. So let's add some lights. So what I'm gonna do is to go here to my place, and here in lights I'm gonna drag a directional light just like this. Now we have our sunlight. Now right click and let's play. Now it looks like we are living in Mars because we don't have any sunlight. So that's what we're gonna add now. And in order to do that, first I'm going to put this and go to my details panel, click on movable, and then go here to my place, go to lights, and instead of lights, I'm just going to visual effects and add a sky atmosphere. There you go. And then I'm going to lights and add a skylight. Okay, real-time capture on and movable here. The last thing I want to do is to add some clouds. So let's go to visual effects. Let's go to clouds here, volumetric cloud. There you go. And the last thing I want to do is to add some fog. So let's go to visual effects again, exponential height fog. And there you go. That's just the first setup we need to create our level. Very simple. Can just run around, and there you go. So now what we're gonna do is to create the wall. So now that I have my level, if I play here, I can have my character move around. What I want to add is some walls that I want to add for my ruins. So I'm just going to my modeling tab, and here when I click box, I can just create, you know, a kind of wall. So I'm going to change the dimensions here. For width, I'm going to reduce it to 40, something like this. I'm going to increase the depth to maybe 500. Okay, something like that. And my height maybe 300. There you go. And now that we have this, we can just click here. And this is our wall. So just click complete. And there you go. Now we have our brick wall. The next thing we need to do is to add some texture. So in order to do that, we're going to Control Space, Add, and then go to Quixel Content. And here, if you go here to Quixel, you can download any texture. in my case, I will download some bricks. If you want to check which one I use, you can just type brick, then you can go to surface, and then go to historical. And here I have this one, Fort stone wall, and then the Roman stone wall. So this should be good enough. So I already have them here where you download them. You will have it in your local folder. I will just click add here, and then click the other one. Okay, and just like that, we just add our textures to our level. And there you go, my fort and my Roman. And what I want to do is to add the textures here. So I can just go here to my Roman texture, and I can just click here. There you go. And the problem with this is that our scale is really small. So what I want to do is to change the UVs a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna do that inside Unreal. I'm going here, select my wall, go to modeling, and then go down, and in UVs you will see layout. And by default, this will be repack. So I will click on transform. Okay, and then I will just put my texture resolution is 2K, and my scale is 5. Okay, you don't really need to change texture resolution because we're only doing the transform. You are not doing repacking. And now this looks a little bit better actually. So let's keep it like that. Let's click accept. Okay. And there you go. Now we have our wall. So let's right click, play from here. And there you go. Now we have our brick wall here. So the next thing I'm gonna do is to add some resolution to my walls. And as you can see, when I play from here, you will see that my wall is really flat and it doesn't have much detail. Although the texture looks really nice, you know, things can get a little bit better. So what I will do is to come back here and then go to my modeling. And here I will go to my mesh operations and click remesh. And what this will do is to add some geometry that I will need to add to my geometry. By default is 5000. I believe this number is more than fine. So let's just click accept. And there you go. Now, the next thing we need to do is to displace our mesh. So we're gonna do that by going to the deform and then go to displace. And you can see that by default, we're having some displace going on, but it's using a purling noise. So if I make this bigger, you can see that the details that are projected are not following my brick textures. So what I'm gonna do is to change this purling noise and put a texture to the map, just like this. And here I will go to my content browser and I will choose this mask. If I double click here, you will see these 3 individual channels. First you have the red one, the green one here, and the blue one. The blue one is the displacement, and this is what we want. What it actually does is basically have a layer that basically the whiter values will be on top and the darker values will be on the bottom. So it's just like a layer like this that will be pushed on the surface, and the whiter it is, the more is pushed to the surface, and the darker it is, then it gets, you know, it doesn't push the values. So we're gonna use this one. So how are we gonna do this? We're just gonna click here and then go to our displacement, and there you go. Now there's something wrong going on here. It's not quite accurate, and the reason is we're using the red channel. And if we check our texture, the red channel is for ambient occlusion, which kind of works, but actually it can be much better. So what we're gonna do is to change this channel to blue. And just by doing that, we're already having some displacement. Now, the displacement is really subtle. So what I'm gonna do is to change the displace intensity for something like 50 maybe. Now that's a little bit too much. Maybe that's what you're looking for. But for me, I feel something like 20 can be good enough. Something like this, okay? And yeah, this looks good enough to me, okay? So just by doing that, if I click accept, you will see that now my geometry has much more detail. One thing I'm gonna do is to control space here, and if I go to my details panel, I will just click here to browse, and here I will right click and enable nanite. And just by doing that, I will basically create a nanite mesh out of this one. Okay, and this will make my mesh look much more better. Okay, much better, I mean. So just by doing that, if I go here, you will see that my mesh has much more details than before. It's just not a flat texture. Now the next thing we're going to do is to basically break this out so we have our ruins of our castle. So what we're gonna do next is to break this wall, and we're gonna do that using booleans. So the best way to do it is to use the modeling tools and then go to my poly extrude. And if I click here, you will see that you see I can click anywhere, and I can close my spline, click here, and then I can just drag, and I can have like a wall here, and click again, and this will complete the operation. Okay, so there are a couple of things I want to do before making our mesh to destroy this wall. So I'm going to go to the poly extrude, and here I don't want to enable the snapping. I want to be really freehand. And what I want to do is to put the mode to fix, something like that. I can just leave to 100 or 150 if I want. And now that I click here, you will see that as I close the spline, I will have my automatic extrusion going on. So before continuing, I will delete this too. Let me hide this one, and I will just rotate this for now. Okay, and if the rotation is not accurate, go to Shift 1, and here you can put the snapping angles, so you can just rotate like this. And before doing that, let me duplicate this mesh by holding Alt, and let's go to our modeling, and here we will duplicate this mesh and basically put it as it is, click accept. Okay, and now we have our mesh here and two different meshes that we can use. So let's destroy this one, and we're going to go to the top here, and we're going to use the unlead, maybe the lead mode, it's fine, it's okay. So just by doing that, we can go to modeling and go to our poly extrude here. Let's go to poly extrude, and now we can just just copy here. So we can basically trace a line like this, okay. Basically following the brick wall, and I can go here if I want. I can go here. Just like that, okay. There you go. And now I will destroy all this, like this. Let's close it. And there you go, that's the first one. Let's create the second one. Okay, so let's go here to my poly extrude, and I will just follow this just like this. Doesn't have to be super accurate. Just like that, okay, and then keep following the brick contours. Come back here, then go here, and basically we can leave it like that. There you go. Let's close it, and now we have our two booleans. Let's go to Shift 1, and then go here instead of the top. We're gonna to click perspective, and you will see I have my booleans here. So what I'm gonna do is to click here and then click on this one, and then I'm going to my modeling mode, modeling tools, okay, and I'm going to, well, first let's we can rotate this, okay? Let's rotate this 90 degrees, just like that. And this one we will also rotate 90 degrees. Great. Now, there are two ways to cut this. The first one is using the Boolean, and we're going to do that now. So in order to use the Boolean, we just need to click on our wall, then click on this one, okay? And then we're going to use the mesh Boolean. And as you can see, what is going on here is that it's choosing the intersection between these two meshes, and it's creating a mesh that, you know, it's basically following the second mesh. You can change the difference, like, and to have like a different result. For example, like the inside of a brick wall, and then we can put the brick wall here if we want. But in our case, we're just going to use the difference A minus B, and that's pretty much it. So once you're done with that, you can just click accept, and you will have your mesh. Now that's brilliant. Now there is another way to cut this, and it's using the mesh cut here. Now if you see here is grayed out, it's because I haven't choose two meshes. So if I click on this one and then click on this one again, I can just choose the mesh cut if I want. Okay, so by doing the mesh cut, it's a little bit different. Instead, what you will do is basically separate these two meshes using the second choice. Just like the Boolean, it will choose the one that is intersecting, but it will also create a new mesh. So if I click accept, you will see that I have two meshes and nothing will happen. So I can just basically move this around. I can delete it if I want, and Control H. Okay, and let's just move this thing down just like this. There you go. So now that we have this, now you see that it looks like the same, but it's actually not. I actually have two meshes here, just like this. Okay, so just by doing that, we can create more variations for our brick wall. We can have this one, and this one, and this is how we can create the kits. Now, you can see that the Booleans already create a mesh here, and it's using a default material. We don't really want that, so what we're gonna do now is to basically add some textures here. So in order to add another material, it's very easy. We just need to go here and drag another material and just put it here. And there you go. That's all you need to do. Okay, so if we go to our mesh here and we look it up here, we can go to our details panel here. If I click my mesh, I can just click here to find where is it. And if I drag it again, you will see that this material is not applied. The reason is we're just modifying the instance. So if we want to modify it completely, we can just come here and then change the material to the one we just put, save it, and there you go. The same thing for this one and this one. So double click on this one, type Fort, leave it like that, save, go here, then go to my material, type Fort, there you go, save, and just like that we just applied another material that is, a little bit more noisy because this part is shipped out, so it should be like another material. And now our brick walls look much better. What we will do now is to create some variations that we can use to decorate our scene. So what we will do now is just to create some variations, and we're gonna do that by bending our meshes. So what we're gonna do is to duplicate all of this so we can have like a different version, and then go to each one of them, go to modeling, and then duplicate mesh, accept, and then do the same one here, duplicate mesh, accept, then go to the third one, duplicate mesh, accept. You can have as many meshes as you want, but in my case, to keep things simple for the tutorial, I'm just going to use 3. So how are we gonna do this? We're going to go to modeling tools, and then we're going to go to deform, and then go to the warp node. Now, you can see like it's going into another direction, and you can change this by choosing like a different axis, like Y and X, just like that. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is to actually change the pivot point of this one because it's giving an axis that is kind of weird. So in order to do that, we're just going here to my transform, pivot, and then go to the left or right or back. There you go. The back looks okay. Then go here, right to the bottom. And this looks like a nice place. So we're just going to leave it there. Looks okay to me. So let's click accept. Okay. And now what we're gonna do is to go here to my warp node. Okay. And now I'm just going to change the x-axis. Just like that. There you go. Now this is looking much better. And there you go. We just move the axis. So here I have some handles here. I can either use these ones, like change the upper bounds here, like how much I want to influence. I can change the degrees. For example, I can have 360 degrees, and I can have something like this if I want. That could be an option too. Okay, and I can move the handle here. For example, I can move it here, so I can have the pivot point in another location. And I can change the bend mode. And I can choose basically change the bending as I please. Okay, so just by doing that, we can have another variation. Let's click accept. Okay, and we're gonna do the same here. We're going to go to wrap, change this one in the x-axis. There you go. And this one we can just leave it like that, or we can do something like this, just like that. And we can also do something maybe like this. Okay, something like this, for example. There you go. Click accept. Let's go to the next one. Warp, rotate in the x-axis. There you go. This one, we can do something like this. I think it looks really interesting, if you ask me. I don't know how it will hold up. Or we can just leave it like that, and then we can rotate later. So this one, we can just rotate like this, 180 degrees. We can just put it up, and that's it. Now we have another variation. And this one we will also rotate 180 degrees. And we're just going to put it here. So now we have something going on here. We have our kit here, and we can create different assets. For example, I can just duplicate this one and duplicate this one, just like this, okay, by holding Alt, and I can rotate this, for example, 90 degrees, and I can just put it here, just like that, okay? I can just come back here, and there you go. Or you can actually put it here, so the seam is not so noticeable, just like this, and there you go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to create some kits that we can use to make our scene faster. So in order to create the kits, we're going to use something that is called Leveling Sense Blueprint. So the first thing we're going to do is to save our level, because we don't really want to lose our progress. Let's go here. Let's call it, I don't know, my castle environment, something like that. And this will be my gym map, something like that. Okay, so not what we will do. What we will do is to basically, for example, if we decide this can be an asset, we can right click both of them. And then what we can do is to go to level and then create packed level actor, just like this. And the axis will be maybe, yeah, it can be this one. Okay, we can put the axis here, click OK. And there we will choose the, let's call it mass, folder called mass, and this will be my mass ruins 01, just like this. And also we will have some blueprints here that we will call it BPP mass. And there you go. Now we have our meshes here, and what this will do is to basically, when I drag this, I already have something going on. So I can create more kits like this, and in order to do that, I will just make this one a little bit bigger so I can have some space. I can come back here, duplicate this one. I can come back here, duplicate this one too. I can rotate, and I can put it here, just like this. And notice that it matched really nicely with our brick wall. Okay, so we can just go here, and we can even add more than two. For example, we can have something like this. Okay, and we can maybe, I don't know, put it here. We want. I don't know if this makes sense, but you know, it looks interesting. So let's just put it like that, and let's just select all of this, and then right-click, level, create pack level actor. Leave it like this. Okay, mass ruins 02, just like this, and we will put this one here. Great, let's do the last one here. So what we will do is to basically duplicate this one. We can duplicate this one too. We can put it in another position if we want. We can put this one too here. Like for example, we can rotate 90 degrees. We can just come back here, just like this. There you go. Don't need to be exact. And also come back here. And let's right click, then go to pivot, snap here. And this will help us to do a better snapping. Of course, we can do things a little bit more organized in the future if we want to be more precise. And then maybe this one, I can just grab this and, you know, just put it here, just like this. Okay. And what I could do is to actually lower this down if I wanted. And there you go. Now we have another ruins kit. Let's click here, level, create pack level actor, click OK here. This will be my ruins 03. And here I will put my ruins 03 here. And there you go. Now that I have this, I can have my level actors here. Great. The next thing we're gonna do is to assemble a small little scene with the pack level instance blueprints we just created, and you will see how fast this is. So in order to assemble a small scene, we can just go here. We can just move things around here. For example, we can put something like this. We can move this one here, just like this. And we can just have a top-down view. We can rotate things around, just like this. Okay, can put something like this. Okay, you can put it here too if you want. You can combine all these meshes here, something like this, or you can, you know, rotate and just play with the position, just like this. And here we can put something here. You can rotate this and, you know, just put it here, just like that. And then here it looks a little bit uniform, so let's come back here and, you know, move things around like this. We can do something like this, or we can, you know, basically rotate things around. You can also remove the location, the rotation snapping here. So now we can just come back here and we can have a small scene here. Can do this one a little bit bigger, and you can also like move this one here, just like this, and this will create some shadows here. So we can move it and put it here, or we can play with it and, you know, move things around, just like this. Okay, and everything is kind of like the same height, so we're gonna use something like this. And of course, we can keep creating our ruins like this. We can rotate this one to have something here. Okay, and can just rotate like this and put it there. This one looks like the same, so maybe we can do something like this, just like this. So now that we have our ruins, let's make this one bigger, just like this. Okay, and also here, so just so we can have something in the background, just something like that. Okay, there you go. And maybe we could move this, something like this. There you go. Okay. Oh, this is looking interesting. Okay, so now that we have our shot, we can just let's just say we just choose this shot, and we can actually play from here, or we can have a look at our ruins here. We can just play around, have different kits here we can use, and of course you can always change things if you don't like them. Like for example, this part I feel like I don't really like it that much, or maybe this one I can just move things around, or I can even delete some of them if I don't like them. I can group them so it can be a little bit more interesting, something like this, and just like that we can have a much more interesting scene. So we're gonna leave the ruins like this. We're just going to add some grass and some details so we can play around with our scene. So the next thing we're going to do is to add some grass here. So I'm going to control space add, and then add Quixel content. And then here, let me look for something nice. For example, I can add this one, the fourth floor. Okay, then I can take a look at something else. For example, this one looks really nice. I will add it. And also maybe, maybe this one, okay? So now that we have here this, I can also choose some grass here. For example, like this one, and maybe this one to decorate later. Okay, you can choose anything you want. So now that we have this, let's try to put the grass here. So how we're gonna do this is we're going to the surface here, and let's put this material here, and looks like it's working fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is to do some vertex painting. So we're going here to my filter, and then go to materials, material instance here, and you will see that I have material instance here. So I will go to my surface here, and I have this one. I also have this one. Let's take a look at how it looks like. Okay, and I also have this one. Great. So these three looks like they will blend really well. So I will choose this one, and then this one, and then this one. And just by clicking those, I can just go to my bridge. And here, I will create a blend material, just like this. And just by doing that, you will see that I have created my blended materials. There you go. I will put this one here. Now, looks like nothing has happened, but actually I have Vertex Painting here. So what I will do is remove this part, go to my complex collision, put the project default, okay, save, and now we will put a simple collision. Let's click apply. There you go. Now we have some simple collision. Or actually, let's just remove this collision and add a box collision. There you go. Much better. Now that we have this, we can paint here. Go to the select mode, then go to mesh paint. But the problem is we don't have any vertex. We only have like a couple here, a couple in the other corner, and that's not really good. So what we're going to do is to basically add resolution here, just like the same way we did with our ruins. We're going to modeling, then we just go to our mesh operations. This is deform. Where is it? There you go, mesh operations, remesh, and 5000 looks okay to me. So let's click accept. And now what we can do is to paint here. So let's go here to select mode, go to mesh paint, and here in painting, I will choose the RGB channels. You will see that everything is white. So what I will do is to basically click the green one and paint in black. Let me reduce the amount, the size of my brush. And by holding shift, I will paint the erase color. And there you go. Now I have some grass here. Can just paint again if I want. I can paint the blue one. So let me change the size. I can just, let me change the strength and the size. Sorry, not the blue one, the red one. I can just create like a small pad here, just like this. Okay. And let me increase the strength, reduce the size, and just create some different paths that we can use. Okay. And just by doing that, we have created our path. If you don't want, just click here, holding shift, you will select like the path. And also the green one, by holding shift, you can, you know, make it a little bit better. You can just paint here, just like this. Great. So now that we have something here, we can also paint in red, or sorry, we can go to the red one and click this one like this. Okay, so we can have something nicer. The next thing we can do is to go to my blend material here, and here you will see that I have a bunch of properties that I can use to blend. So my blend controls, this will be my top layer and my base middle layer controls. I can change the contrast, for example, something like 5. Okay, I can also put the blend contrast to 5 here, and that's a little bit too much. So let's change the fall off to 0.1 or maybe 5. Okay, that's better. The fall off looks like it's working nice. Can do the fall off here, and then the contrast 0.1 to 1.5, 1.2, 1.1, 1.2. There you go. Now that looks a little bit better. And also the blend amount, you can change it like 0 or 1, 2. Can put something like this. This will make it look really nice. And also this one, also, oh sorry, maybe the fall off, blend amount 1.1, 0.6, 0.2. To be honest, I don't really like this texture, so let's just remove it. Okay, so let's save this and let's paint again. And we will paint here the green one, or let's say the green one we're going to paint like this. And now we're going to the red one, and by holding shift, I'm just creating the path here. And the green one, I just paint like this, paint white here, and then with the red one, I can just paint black. Just like this, okay? Just like that. And there you go. Now we have something we can use in our environment. We can change this a little bit, put this one down, and maybe move it like this. Or you can play with it like whatever, any way you want, okay? So now that we have this, now we have small rings we can play with. We can just, you know, have some grass here and call our small scene done. So in order to paint the grass is very easy. We're just going here to our mesh paint. Sorry, not mesh paint, foliage. And you can see that the foliage I add from Quixel Megascans is here. So I can choose the grass first. For example, the grass patches. It's like this. And I can just check here. So I will only paint this. And let's see what happens if we paint. Now, this looks a little bit funny. So let's Control C. And what we can do is to maybe change the brush size to something like this. There you go. My paint density much more. And also the properties here, we're just going to change this a little bit. Let me move this up. Now the density will be like 200. So let's paint again. Okay, this looks much better. Let's put 500. Okay. And also, what we're going to do, with shift we can delete, of course. Okay, and we will change the size. The minimum will be 0.75 and the maximum will be something like, let's try 3.1. That's a little bit too much, I think. Let's put 2. Okay, and also let's change the density to 250. There you go. Okay, a little bit too big. 1.6 maybe. Okay, just like this. Can just paint here and also paint here. There you go. Now we can choose another type of plant. Let's choose all of this and click here. And now we can just choose all of this here. There are like different plants and we can play with the density here. Let's see what happens if we just, okay, so that's a lot. So let's change the density to 25. And also the size will be like 0.6 to 1.5, something like this. And let's see what happens here. Okay, that's a little bit too much. Let's change the density. There you go, much better. And these red plants will give a little bit more balance to our scene, just like this. Okay, great. So now what we need to do is to maybe just polish our scene a little bit and call it done. So now that we have a small scene, we can create like a small little game, like a small scene that we can run around and see some things. So the first thing we're going to do is to actually check the collision. If I press Alt-C, you will see that I cannot see basically my collision. And if I play here, you will see that I'm actually having collision. So what is going on here is that I'm using a complex collision. This is extremely heavy for games. So what we're going to do is to change the collision of these meshes, and the instance meshes will automatically update. So in order to do that, we can just go here to our static mesh, and here we can go here to complex collision, collision complexity, and use project default. Okay, there you go. Now this one doesn't have collision, so what I need to do is to add some collision here. And I will do it very simple. I can just click apply here. And if you don't see this tab, go to collision and then go to auto convex collision. And now you will see that I have some collision going on. If you want to be a little bit more precise, you can remove the collision here by removing here the collision and increase the hull precision and the hull count, just like this. Okay, just like that. And this still can be more precise, so let's put hull precision super big. There you go. And then click apply, and then this will take some time to load. There you go. Now you have something. So now that we have this, our collision is much more optimized for games. So we're gonna do the same here for the rest of the meshes. Let's save all of them. And what we can do actually is to maybe select some of them and change the properties. So I can go here and basically I will do this thing on my side and I will change the collision in all of them. There is a cool little trick that I want to show you, and that is to add a little bit of more variation by using some bricks that are simulating here. So in order to do that, I need to go to my bridge here, and here you will see that I have a pack that I already download. It's my rubble pack, which contains some wood planks and some bricks. And now that I have this, I just need to click on all of them, right click and enable nanite. I already did that, so you don't have to see myself doing that boring thing. So here, what I have basically it's a small brick, and what I want to do is to put some collision. So I will just put apply, and I will do the same for all of them. Apply, click again, apply, and you know how boring game development can be at sometimes. But anyway, let's save everything. Now that we have this, we just need to grab all the bricks here. Okay. And put them here. And what I will do is to move them. Okay, something like this. Okay. And now that I have this, I can just come here, okay? And what I can do is basically apply physics. So if I put here on the details panel, I check all of them and type physics, okay? You will see that I have simulate physics. I will check this. And I can also put a mass kilograms. How heavy these bricks will be, I don't know, but let's put something like 500 kilograms. That's an exaggeration, of course, but in any case, what I need to do is basically make sure that my collision is not using complex collision. Now, how do I know that? For example, if I go to my ground here, and then I double click this, okay, what you need to make sure is that you have complex collision. You don't have any, okay, and that's good. And the other thing you need to make sure is that you actually have some collision here. So if you go to collision, you can put some collision here. In my case, I already have it, so do not need to worry about it. So the same thing with this, you can go here to our assets and make sure all of them have collision. And I believe I can show the collision here. There you go, simple collision. Make sure you don't have complex collision, okay? Now, what I want to do is to grab these meshes and look what will happen if I just click play. Now, I click on simulate, but you can also click play in viewport. If I do that, you will see that I have some bricks that are falling here, okay? And that's great. So basically, what I need to do is to make sure these bricks are a little bit bigger. So let's make it like this. Let's simulate again. Okay, and you can see that my collision here, it's, you know, intersecting. So I can just rotate those, and I can just make them bigger. And I can come back here and rotate again and move them and come back here. And just like this, we can just rotate it. Okay, and we can make this ones bigger if we want. And also some smaller ones, we can just put it like here and rotate them, something like this, and do the same here, here, and here, just to have some bricks in this area. Now, let's select all of those here in my outliner. I have my rubble. Select all of those, and let's click simulate. Let's take a look at how it looks like. Okay, so looks not bad, and you have some really nice simulation here, like this brick is intersecting here, these bricks are just like falling. It's just really nice. But what happens if I click stop simulation? You will see that my bricks are still floating in the air. So what I need to do is to basically simulate here. Okay, and there is a little trick that I will show you to make sure that your bricks stay in place. So what I will do is press K. And just like that, you will see that it saved the actor property location. So when I click stop, my bricks are already here, okay? And they are movable, and you don't really want that. So because if I play my game here, you will see that, you know, my bricks are using simulation, and I don't really want that. So what I will do is to finish this by just clicking on those bricks, all of them, and then change this to a stationary. That's it. And the other thing is we go to physics, and simulate physics should be off by default, okay? And looks like it did by default when we press K. That's it. So this little trick will enable you to simulate some physics here to add more richness to your environment. Okay, let's finish our scene by adding some small little finishing touches into this. So what I will do is to go to my bricks here, and you will see that they are very white. Okay, so what I will do is to basically change the color, because if you go to unlit mode, you will see that this is very bright values, and you don't really want to have that. So I will go to my albedo tint and I will turn it down, just like this. So these colors of the bricks are very similar to the ones you will find here. Now if I check this will blend with my environment much better. Let's try again, and then go down, and look at that. This blends much better compared to the previous ones. So let's click OK, save this. Now what I will do is to add some fog here. So I already had my fog we created at the beginning, but what I will do is basically change the properties a little bit. Let me make some space by dragging this out. And here in volumetric fog, I can just click on this, and you will see that something happened here. Basically, my fog will be affecting by the sky atmosphere. And now what I can do is to basically increase the fog intensity. And I can actually add a secondary fog data if I want it, if I want to make it really intense. And what I can do is with Control L, I can move the sun around, just like this. So until I find some nice sunshine, something like this maybe, or you can Control L again. The idea is to have some nice shadows here. Or what I can do is to put the sun here. Okay, now let's go to our directional light. Type directional, then go to directional light. And what I will do is change the temperature. Click on temperature, and we can make it a little bit cooler or a little bit hotter. I find that myself a little bit cooler can be really nice touch, so I will just leave it like that. And what I will do here is go to my light shaft, and here I will put light shaft occlusion, and you will see that it's having some nice shadows at the end, and I can really increase it or decrease it. I can change the depth range, okay, and I can use add light shaft bloom. And look what happens here is that my sun is having some kind of God rays going on here, just like this, okay? And this is really nice actually. If you want to have like a scene, like sunrise, like are the day and the sun is showing the God rays, something like that, you can do that if you want. In my case, I will just leave it like this, and the bloom I'm just going to reduce it a little bit, like 0.05. Great. So now that I have this, I will play my small little scene. So let's play here. And you see that I have the small little scene. So we covered a lot of stuff. We covered how to model our walls here with a brick wall. We learn how to texture, how to add detail, how to break the walls. We also learn how to create different variations. Then we touch a little bit of materials, so you can make some nice transitions here, a little bit of foliage, and some simulation here for your brick assets to add more coolness to your scene, and of course some nice fog effects and sunlight to make your scene look a little bit better. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you want to learn more, make sure to subscribe to our channel, where you can watch a lot of other cool tutorials for free too. And if you want to dig deeper, make sure to check our website so you can take a look at some premium tutorials. And also, you can consider becoming a member of this channel to access some premium tutorials for a minimum price. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.